Hello and thanks for checking out this video. I hope you find it useful and that it gives you some ideas of how to organise your own workflow in editing those great images you've just taken. I'm Douglas Kerr, and over the years I've developed my own workflow from tips and ideas presented by others. I often make changes as I learn and continue to learn by trying out new techniques and ideas. I'm sure you'll have your own way of doing things, but it's always good to keep a lookout for new ways and adapt them to your own style to make the whole edit process enjoyable for you. To simplify this tutorial, I've broken up my workflow into 3 basic themes. Part 1, preparation, Part 2, processing, and Part 3, presentation. I'll look at each theme in more detail in separate videos, so you can review each one at your own leisure without having to watch parts you're not interested in. But I hope you find something of value in each section. And if you do, then feel free to comment or subscribe to my YouTube channel for any updates and some varied output. Part 1, preparation. Okay, so you've taken some great pictures. Now what do you do with them? First of all, you'll want to get them from your camera to your device for editing. Whether it's a PC, Mac, laptop or tablet, the process will be similar each time. I use a desktop PC, so that's what I will be referring to in these videos, but you should only need slight adjustments if your device is different, and you can customize your own workflow accordingly. My cameras use both CF and SD cards, and I shoot RAW images, which means they can be large file sizes. This takes up a lot of space on my hard drive, with a need for space that is continually growing. I use external hard drives for storage and also for backups. Each year I review their use and inevitably have to add more drives to increase capacity every now and then. The most efficient way to transfer these files is to use a card reader. Of course, you can use a direct cable transfer, which may be supplied with your camera, but this often takes longer and also drains the battery in your camera. My card reader has various slots for all types of memory cards. Being USB 3 compatible, it can transfer files to my hard drive at a good speed. When I take out the memory card from my camera, I would normally place a newly formatted card back in my camera ready to use again, and keep the memory card that's just been used and transferred to the side until the files on my hard drive have been backed up. Only then would I reformat that card for future use. When you do reformat a card, use your camera to do this, as it will also build a folder structure appropriate for your camera ready to go. Where do I put my files? Well, as I said, I store my images on external hard drives. I have folders for each year, and then each shoot or memory card is placed in a subfolder with a date and description of content. If you use Adobe Lightroom, it tends to dictate where images are kept. I like to know where to find my images, so I decide my own storage file structure, and hence why I prefer to use Adobe Bridge as my way of managing files. Here's how I make a transfer using Windows File Explorer. Insert the memory card to the card reader. Then insert the card reader to the USB slot. In File Explorer, locate the USB drive. Open the DCIM folder, that stands for Digital Camera Images. Then copy the folder containing all the images. Using my Canon camera, this will be the folder called 100 EOS 5D. It might be slightly different from your camera. If you're not sure, you can open the folder to check it does contain the images you have taken. I select and right click on the folder to bring up the menu Options, click Copy, then navigate in Explorer to where I wish to transfer the files. Today I will use Drive E, Photos, Folder Year 2020, right click again and then Paste. Once all the files have been transferred, I will rename the folder Year, Month, Date, Description 2020 underscore 05 underscore 10 workflow images, as this is the date these pictures were taken. This naming convention helps me keep all photos in chronological order so I can trace any image according to when it was taken, providing of course I can roughly remember when or which year, but it's usually not too difficult finding images from years back. At this point I'm about to view and select which photos I want to keep, delete or edit. To do this I use Adobe Bridge, which comes as a partner program to Adobe Photoshop. The two programs work together but have quite different purposes and uses. These programs may seem quite daunting at first, but the more you use them, the more confident you will become at keeping organised and being able to achieve some amazing things with your pictures. There are basic steps you can learn and then gradually learn more about these powerful tools so that your creativity can grow at your own pace. When you open Adobe Bridge, you will see on the left two tabs marked Favorites and Folders. Under the Folders tab, you will see all the drives and subfolders on your PC. Just navigate to where your images are located. For example, Drive E, Tutorial, Photos 2020 and the date, and you'll see where your folders and images are stored. If you have several folders that you have access regularly, you can add these to your favourites. Right click, then select Add to Favorites from the menu. The selected folder will then be added to your list of favourites, which can all be seen under the Favourites tab. This is what I use mostly, giving quick access to the drives and folders I use regularly. So to continue with this tutorial, I shall select Drive E, Tutorial, Photos 2020 and then the date. Now we can see all the images taken and transferred to the storage drive. The first thing I need to do is view the images and decide which I want to keep and edit. Using Bridge, I will view each image quickly and classify or rate the image according to my chosen scale. Each image can be given a numerical rating, 1 to 5, but can also be given a colour code if you prefer, or both. It's up to you to decide how you wish to rate images. For example, I use 4 star for keep and edit, 3 stars for possible edit, and 5 star for great shot, definitely keep and edit. But once I have given a first review, I may go back, selecting only the 4 star and give a second assessment. The rating is a personal subjective view, which makes it easier to go back at a later date to find which images may be best to use for a particular purpose. Colour codes may be given, for example a 7, which is yellow, which could mean convert to black and white. But it's up to you to decide how best to use and develop the different star ratings and colour codes to suit your own way of working and identifying what each code means to you. But let's quickly rate these images as an example. Select the first image and hit spacebar. The image displays full screen to allow me to see clearly. Using the number keypad, I give it a rating, or if I don't like it at all, I will leave it blank. Some people mark an image to be deleted as 6 red. But again, it's up to you to decide your rating or identification policy. Using the arrow keys, I move to the next image and give its rating. Then the next, and so on until they're all done. The rating given will appear on the bottom left of the screen. Once complete, press the spacebar or escape key and it takes me back to the full bridge view. On the left side, I can see how many have been selected for each rating. If, for example, I had 10 images rated 4-star, but I only wanted to print or give a client a choice of 6, then I can select only the 4-star images and reassess which to drop out or reclassify as 3-star so that they can still remain possible alternatives at another time. I now have edited and marked my collection to 6 images for editing and processing when it's time to do so. It's worth mentioning a useful optional step to take, which can be done at any time, but best done as early as possible and usually before processing the raw files. You will notice in Bridge, on the right hand side, the tab for Metadata. Here we find all sorts of information about each file. File properties such as date, dimensions, file size and camera data. What camera, lens and exposure was used. Under IPTC, which stands for International Press Telecommunications Council, this is an archival standard for meta tagging. You don't need to remember that. But you can store keywords and description of the image, as well as perhaps more importantly, the owner and copyright holder of the image. While you could update and change each image with your name as photographer, you can create a standard template for the tags you want to use, and then apply that template to all images in a few clicks. Let me show you. In Tools, select Create Metadata Template. We shall call this one a new workflow. Creator, well, that's me, Douglas Kerr. I could put my address, email, website, etc. But let's put description tutorial shots. And down at the bottom, we'll select the tag copyright notice. Hold the Alt key plus 0169, which gives the copyright symbol, Douglas Kerr. That will do. Now select all the photos you want to apply these details to. Select Tools, Replace Metadata, a new workflow, and now see the metadata change for all those images. Of course, once you've set this up, you can leave it and just apply it when you wish, or even edit the details later if you change your address or website. We are now ready to process the raw files. Any meta tags and ratings we have given the images will remain with the raw image and subsequent JPEGs throughout the process. Processing the raw files gives us the ability to modify exposure, colour balance and other fine tuning of the image, but this will be discussed in the next tutorial. If you've stayed with me so far and liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you at the next one.